Is Eat Just about to IPO? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight on the PlantStock channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jesse. Eat Beyond's portfolio company, Eat Just, who is famous for their Just Egg product, has recently raised $200 million, which means that they're up to about $650 million that they've raised since 2011. Now, is this an indication that they might be using some of that money to IPO? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, I would really appreciate, as always, if you guys would want to help me out with the algorithm by giving me a thumbs up, since it really does help spread the message. And if you want to keep getting more information regarding Eat Just, Eat Beyond, or other plant-based stocks, make sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell button. So if we just begin with, as always, to take a look at the stock chart, ticker symbol EATS, we can say that today it is actually up around 6%, which is huge considering where it's been at the last month or so. And we know why, considering the information that we have gotten from the feds, that even if they state that they're not about to change the interest rates in any major ways, there are still people who are really nervous, and we don't know as of yet 100%. But obviously, this latest news has made a difference. 6% is a pretty big jump. So for those of you who don't know what kind of company Eat Just is, it states here that, quote, Eat Just applies cutting-edge science and technology to create healthier, more sustainable foods. The company's expertise from functionalizing plant proteins to culturing animal cells is powered by a world-class team of scientists and chefs spanning more than a dozen research disciplines. And I thought it'd be interesting to really go into their main and favorite product, which is Just Egg.
It's kind of funny that the mung bean, which has been in the culinary world for thousands of years, has this incredible new property that we're just discovering right now. It contains this amazing protein that can scramble like an egg. Every time I watch it cook like that, I'm completely amazed. Like, it shouldn't exist, but it's there.
It's understanding the power of that plant and being able to utilize it in a way from a chef standpoint that makes sense. This thing works. And it's delicious.
No way.
It needs no seasoning. It's so good.
No way.
That's incredible.
Are you kidding?
It's not egg?
No.
The challenge of doing something no one's ever done before, there's nothing like it. I look at the way the world works, and I maybe I look at it differently and think that we can make it better. We can make it more sustainable. We can make it less cruel. We can make it taste better. We don't have to do things the way we've done them before. We can make it not just better for you, but better for the world. And I think that's the important aspect.
So hopefully you got some more insight to what exactly Just Egg is. But regarding the news then, so this $200 million funding round was led by the Qatar Investment Authority, QIA, the sovereign wealth fund of the state of Qatar, joined by private investment firm Charles Bank Capital Partners and Vulcan Capital, is the investment arm of the estate of Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist Paul G. Allen, which that is amazing news. I mean, that really shows what kind of people believe in this company, right? And according to this article, the capital will be utilized or used for advanced company R&D, enhanced commercial manufacturing, and further promote Eat Just brand globally. And Eat Just recently partnered with a leading quick service restaurant in China and Peet's Coffee in North America. And if you want to know more about that, take a look at my video up here, which I did a couple of weeks ago. And as some of you might know by now, Eat Just is not only about plant-based eggs, but it's also about cultured meat. So it states here, in late 2020, Eat Just secured the first in the world regulatory approval for real high-quality meat created directly from animal cells for human consumption, and weeks later made history when its Good Meat branded cultured chicken was served and sold to guests for the first time at the restaurant. We'll talk more about that as we move on in the video. So this is what the CEO of Eat Beyond had to say about this. Quote, "We're thrilled to see this continued momentum for Eat Just. Their Just Egg and Good Meat branded cultured chicken products are truly pioneering in this new space, and consumers are excited. We are at a key inflection point in history, and food production may well look remarkably different on a large scale within the next decade, with companies like Eat Just developing cutting-edge, sustainable solutions to our future food needs. Now, I wanted to find out some more information for you guys, so I took a look at an article in Business Wire, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company. Yay, Warren Buffett! But it talks about accelerating America's fastest growing egg brand. So it's already at about 20,000 retail points of distribution and 1,000 food service locations. And to date, Eat Just has sold the plant-based equivalent of about 100 million eggs, and 1 million U.S. households have made Just Egg their favorite when it comes to the branded product. And already this year in 2021, it's only gone a couple of months, but already had record-breaking retail sales for Just Eggs 12-ounce pourable format that is perfect for scrambles, omelets, quiches, stir fries, and bacon applications. It quickly became the #1 selling frozen breakfast item at the top 5 U.S. supermarket and the #1 frozen breakfast entry in the natural channel. Now, as I know that several of my subscribers are interested in cultured meat and cultural meat companies, I imagine they'll be a little interested when it comes to Eat Just, since that's something that's growing also within the company. And we can see here that they had their first milestone where they actually sold the first cultured meat chicken in a restaurant, which was like a historical thing, because Singapore, they're up for that. They're okay with that, even though it's super expensive at the moment. It's cheaper than it was a couple of years ago, but still huge difference compared to an ordinary chicken piece, right? And according to this article, quote, in the months and years ahead, the company will continue its leadership in the field by dramatically reducing cultured meat production costs, scaling commercial manufacturing operations, and advancing its work on other types of meat. Cultured meat could become a $30 billion market by 2030, and good meat cultured chicken is on the path to price competitiveness with conventional chicken by that time, according to modeling conducted by February by a leading management consulting firm retained by Eat Just. So they're talking about that the overall cultured meat market could be worth $13 billion. And that does sound pretty large, but if you compare it to the overall meat industry right now, which is around $1.4 trillion, it doesn't actually sound so much. Not even when you compare it to the plant-based meat alternative market, which is expected to be about 10% of what the traditional meat market is, which will be around $140 billion, I think, within the next 7 to 10 years. So that would actually make this only 10% of what the plant-based market is estimated to be within 10 years. So still quite a small market. So I think this is going to be an area that will actually take a long time to grow, which doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but maybe 10 years won't be enough then. Maybe we'll have to expect 20 to 30 years, but that depends on the situation. Now, some of you might be wondering, when you're producing this cultured meat items, these products, these meat items, because they're actual meat, right? They're not plant-based at all, which is stated on their page here. Is good meat vegan or vegetarian? No, good meat is real meat made from cells instead of animals that are raised and slaughtered. So they're not vegan or vegetarian at all. But you might want to know then, again, is there any animals that will be killed in this process? Because what I've read before anyways, and this might be old technology, that sure, cultured meat would mean a lot less suffering for animals, but when you had to use stem cells, you still had to kill at least one animal to be able to get the proper amount of cells. But it does seem, according to this page, that might not be longer the case, and I might read up more about that in the future. But if we take a look at here, it says that was a bird slaughtered to obtain the cell line that has been approved in Singapore. And it said, no, not a single one. So I'm guessing that's really good news. We can feel good about that. And there's a lot of different questions here for you who are interested. And we should know, though, that as of yet, this is not approved in the US. It just is actively engaged with the FDA regarding our process to produce meat. Currently, the FDA and USDA are building a framework and process for regulatory approval of cultured meat in the US. So it probably will happen sooner or later, especially from a sustainability perspective. So my final thoughts on this is that no, we still don't know when they're going to IPO. We're going to talk more about it soon, but normally when you get funding like this, you can use it for different things like they talked about there. It's about the expansion here. They're going to go in working more with the branding and also R&D, which is an important aspect. But I also think it could be an indication that they're still thinking about doing the IPO soon. Because when you do an IPO, we talked about that, that's an extremely expensive endeavor, which leaves a lot of companies poor actually directly after the IPO, which takes them sometimes years to get back to. So getting money like this, another $200 million, would really help them after IPO. And they have actually talked about IPOing soon, as I will show you here. In an article in the Green Queen, we get the information here that other food techs have additionally indicated plans to go public in the future. And specifically, Eat Just, the company behind the famous plant-based Just Egg, recently alluded to launching an IPO once it reaches profitability, a target that the firm aims to reach by the end of 2021. So that is soon, right? In an interview, the Eat Just co-founder and CEO, Josh Tetrick, revealed that eventually going public made the most sense and added that this goal has never been clearer. And that does seem to be an indication too now, considering what's happening. They are about to expand, this going to access more R&D and working on that brand recognition. So for me, that means that they're on their way. So could we see an IPO in the end of 2021 or maybe in the beginning of 2022? Yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. Now, there are some rumors and talks about in different forums and articles that Eat Just could actually become a SPAC deal with Nuaco, which is a plant-based SPAC, trying to find the perfect company to merge with. I'm not sure about it, but I'm going to look into it more. And if you guys want more information regarding that, let me know down in the comments. Before, we speculated regarding it if it could be with Oatly, but it seems that Oatly is IPOing in the traditional sense. Now, when eventually this company actually IPOs, as you saw in the article, it seems like they're going to do it, whether it be in a half a year from now or a year from now, we're not sure at the moment. But considering that they're part of Eat Beyond's portfolio, right? People who are actually part of Eat Beyond might actually get an opportunity to invest in them, Eat Just, before the IPO. I'm not sure if that would be possible, but that was certainly the truth when it comes to Nabati that we have also talked about on this channel. If you want more information about that, take a look at the video up there. And obviously that would be amazing because that would mean that you could have access to this company at an earlier stage before their IPO, which would probably be a lot cheaper than buying it after the IPO. But then again, we don't know. Speculation here. This company might be too big because they're getting money already from different investment firms out there and venture capitalists. So it might not be necessary for them to do such a thing. But still, you still do get exposure to this company, as you know, through Eat Beyond. And as of yet, as an ordinary retailer, it's the only way you can get exposure to them. So do I see a future with this company? Well, I certainly do. Considering that eggs is probably one of the most cholesterol-rich food items out there. And I think most of us know cholesterol in any amount, really, but if you have it normally in your own blood, so why eat something that also has cholesterol? And logically, of course, your cholesterol levels will go up. But eggs being one of the products that contains most of them, that could be a good idea to stay away from, especially if you eat many of them. And I do know a lot of people out there love to use them, not just eating them on their own, but, in pancakes, in quiches, in different bakery goods. We've been using them for hundreds of years and thousands of years. It's been a natural part of our diet. It's been easy to find. But again, eating them to the amount we do today, not very healthy. And cholesterol being one of the key reasons why people have different heart diseases, cardiovascular diseases, being heart attacks, strokes, amnesia. The list goes on, why it's not good to have too much cholesterol. If you could avoid that by actually having a product that replaces all kinds of egg products, that would be amazing, I think. And I think that would be a huge business. And obviously from a sustainability perspective, it's a no-brainer. I mean, considering the water usage that is needed to raise so many chickens, billions and billions of chickens just to produce eggs and to actually slaughter the chickens later, and to the water usage, the carbon footprint that is part of that whole story, obviously this is going to be so much less. And let's not forget one of the more important things as well is obviously the enormous animal suffering that is out there. And why I think it's very interesting here is when I looked at some stats, and we talked about that in another video of mine, is that just in China, they produce about 400 to 500 billion eggs per year. And that's actually about 35% of the world's amount, which would be, I guess, then between 1.3 to 1.5 trillion eggs a year. So just imagine that right now, Just Eggs has just created the equivalent of 100 million eggs? That's like nothing. That's just a fraction of the eggs that's produced out there, right? So consider the huge market opportunity here that they're actually going after. That's what makes this so amazing to me as well. Folks, what do you think about Just Eggs? What do you feel about the whole company, Eat Just? Is that something for you? Are you interested in it? You want more information about it? Let me know. All right, folks, that was it for today. I hope you got some value from today's video. And if you did, make sure to smash that like button since it will really help me out. And if you want to get more information regarding Just Egg and other plant-based companies, make sure to subscribe. And don't forget that bell button. It's important. And hopefully you haven't forgotten, this is not financial advice. These are just my own thoughts and opinions. It's important to do your own due diligence and invest safe. I hope you guys have a marvelous Friday. Hope to see you soon. Peace out.